And good morning. Hey, welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I am Ken Walls. I'm your host, and I'm pretty excited about our guest today. This lady has become a friend of mine via social media, and we've had multiple conversations. She is absolutely an amazing rock star, and it appears just about everything she does. So I want to go ahead and welcome my friend Claudia Stepan. Am I saying that right? Stepan.
Yes, you are.
To the show. Welcome, Claudia.
Thanks, Ken. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm super excited. I've been watching your show, and I see all the amazing guests you have on. So feel honored to be here to have a live conversation with you. And like you said about like becoming a friend on social media, I definitely feel like that's the connections like that are building, through live video, interacting with people, and the power of social media to connect with people who uplift and inspire. And you're certainly one of those people to me. So thanks for having me on.
Well, thank you. I've caught several of your live streams, and you're quite the little motivator yourself. So, and I know a little bit about some of the stuff challenges you've faced in life. I don't know everything, obviously, but and you're still just killing it. You may want to move like just a little bit to there you go, right about there, right there. Sorry, you were just a little bit off screen. So, I created the show in an effort to give back to the world. And it's really to help people get unstuck that are stuck in life. And we've all been there, right? We've all gotten stuck. We've all been paralyzed by fear and everything else. And so, that's what this is about. And I like to always start out with having you tell everybody where you're from, where you were born and raised.
All right.
Let's start there.
Yeah, let's start there. So I was born not too far from where you are now, Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
My parents actually both immigrated to the U.S. From Germany separately. They didn't know each other in Germany, but my dad came over when he was about 18 on the ship, as an immigrant looking for, the American dream, right? My mom came over when she was about 21 and was coming on vacation, but met my dad in a German club in Pittsburgh, fell in love, and decided to stay. So when I was born, I was second child from my parents. I have one brother. And, we had a very typical upbringing. My parents were hardworking people. My dad was an entrepreneur. They owned a small business. So I grew up in the small business. And as soon as I was capable of contributing to the small business, my brother and I, started to help with little jobs. And, we lived a typical kid life, like go outside and play until dark, come inside, have dinner, play with each other, wake up to, Saturday morning cartoons and, go to school. Nice little neighborhood, just your, typical, middle class kind of environment. And that was where I was born and raised. So. And
is that like the Pittsburgh area, right?
It's a little more east of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
More residential, more, suburban for sure. Greensburg was the town. Ligonier is close by. That's where Rolling Rock is made for anybody who drinks Rolling Rock. I'd say that would be like something about the area that people recognize. But very residential, very suburban.
Yeah.
Very typical of that kind of just a not a city, not a country town, kind of right there in the middle.
Right. So your parents were entrepreneurs.
Yes.
What kind of business did they have?
They had a printing business.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So they did, a lot of, and back then, there wasn't all this digital printing and you order online and get your business cards done online. So they did, that was a booming business for a long time in their era. And, so that's kind of what my parents did the whole time. My dad started his own business soon after he got to the United States. I think he started out in Iowa and he did an apprenticeship for a newspaper. And then when he moved to the, Pittsburgh area, he quickly opened up his own business. So when my mom met him, he was already doing that. And then she kind of joined him in the business side and did all the, the administrative side, a lot of the invoicing and the billing, delivering, and that kind of stuff.
So growing up with entrepreneurial parents like that, and being involved in the business at I'm sure it wasn't when you were 5, but you still you saw it all the time, I'm sure. And being the child of immigrant parents. So do you speak German?
I do. I
Okay.
definitely probably have lost some of the speaking part of it. I can understand it still very well. I know that, if I was to immerse myself in it again, it wouldn't take me very long to get back to it. But, there's not, out here in California, I don't get to use it very much. But my brother actually spent some time, he went into engineering and did a lot of work over in Germany. And he has been able to hold on to it a lot better than I have. So,
wow.
But yeah, I think the things that I learned the most from watching and from being in an entrepreneurial family, first of all, I saw the work it took.
Yeah.
I saw the amount of time my parents put into the business. I saw where I did see the flexibility freedom, like my parents could take me to work. My mom could take me to school. She could leave and go as she pleased. So there was that flexibility factor in it.
Yeah.
But I also saw the amount of work and effort and also the responsibility and the, all the risk you take on. Certainly, lots of big investments in that industry with machinery. So I saw some stressful periods for my parents too, financially, when, something would go wrong or, a client didn't pay. And then I also just learned, just to do it yourself, like that whole, doing it yourself, you have to, there's no one telling you what to do. So I saw my parents work very, very hard and I saw the benefits of being an entrepreneur. I certainly, though, as I got older, I knew very early on that I didn't want to take over the business.
Did you?
Yeah. And my brother as well, we both, that certainly could have been something we did.
Right.
But I know for me, it was, not what I enjoyed doing. Although I value, the work ethic I learned and understanding, how to own and operate a business. I definitely knew it wasn't something I was passionate about. So I knew that it wasn't something I was going to consider, but.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, my mother-in-law is from Pittsburgh and she's German.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
maybe they hang out at the German club together.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. I think it was her, I don't know if it was her parents or her grandparents, maybe her grandparents that had a huge bakery in Pittsburgh, and they had the horse. And anyway, we have some of the antiques that my wife has accumulated from that. But so you grew up in this entrepreneurial family. You went to did you go to the same elementary and junior high and high school?
We moved when I was in 4th grade, not far, but I ended up in a different school.
Okay.
Early on, so then the rest of my middle school and high school was, with the other people around me. Yeah. So
did you go to college?
I did, and so my teen years, I had an adventurous spirit. That's another thing I've kind of reflected on, what's been the common theme in my life.
Yeah.
Seeking adventure and just experience and kind of just being open to you know, if I had a friend that was saying, hey, you know, let's move to the beach for the summer, I was like, let's do it. And I would be the one like getting out the newspaper and looking for a place to live. And I just jumped on those opportunities to just, you know, explore and have adventure and stuff. So, you know, my middle school, high school years, you know, I had that spirit. It didn't always lead me the right direction. So I had, like most teens, you know, you have those years.
Yeah.
When I went into college, you know, I always did really well at school and with grades and with, you know, that was always an easy thing for me. I definitely wasn't like a high achiever. Like I wasn't like school, you know, I definitely wanted my social time with my friends, but I did well. And so you know, when I got accepted to college, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And I don't know if any of the viewers here can relate to that. Like, I definitely was not a person that, like, coming out of high school, I was like, I know what I want to do.
Right.
And so, like, I remember going into college just being kind of like, that's the logical next step. But I had no idea what to focus on. I just didn't. I didn't have, you know, I remember thinking about some ideas. And back then, too, it was like, you really didn't, it was just like all the basic things, right? Like the typical career paths that you would consider.
Right.
And, you know, I just didn't know. So I went in as a business administration, you know, degree into Penn State. And the first 2 years is your general ed credits. So I just did my general ed credits. And then while I was there, I was like, okay, I got to figure it out, right? Because in your third and fourth year, you have to focus in on, you know, something specific.
Right.
I still didn't know, and through college I did work. I worked through college in restaurants, waiting tables. So I knew the one thing I loved was adventure, and I loved traveling. I did get to travel a lot with my parents growing up, especially back to Europe to see our family, and then around, you know, the Eastern Coast, they would travel a lot for their social club activities that they had going on. So I knew that. And so Penn State had a program called hospitality, you know, hotel restaurant management.
Yeah.
So I saw that program and I thought, okay, at least I know that I like to travel. I love going to different destinations. Maybe I'll pick something in business that will get me into amazing destinations in the world. So hotel restaurant management seemed like a good fit. And that's what I ended up getting my degree in.
Wow. Hotel and restaurant management.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Right,
okay.
Exactly.
So okay, so you graduated college, you got your bachelor's degree in hotel and restaurant management.
Yeah.
And then so what happened after that?
Okay, so what happened next was, you know, I had my degree. You know, they had a really great percentage of getting people placed out of that industry. You know, the number of people that got jobs, like recruited out of college, was really high. I interviewed for 4 different companies. Marriott was one of them. Grand Heritage Hotels. I forget the other 2 company names, but they were all hotel. Well, one was a restaurant chain.
Right.
And I interviewed to go into the different management training programs and was, you know, looking at all the different options. And again, like Marriott wanted me to move to Washington, D.C. And again, I knew that I didn't want to be in Washington, D.C. I knew I wasn't a big city girl. That was another thing I knew. I knew I didn't like big cities. I liked nature, and I liked mountains and beaches, and that's what I wanted in my life. So I turned down that one. I basically ended up like not really liking the locations that of the place. One of the companies said sign first and then we'll tell you the location.
Oh,
and I was like, no, that's not going to happen. So I ended up turning down all 4 offers. And literally my parents were like, you know, what? And I had a friend who had mentioned they were moving to a ski town in Colorado.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm moving to a ski town in Colorado with no job.
Wow.
So that's where I went next.
So you went to Colorado.
I moved to Colorado.
With no job, not knowing what you were going to do.
Yeah. I just showed up and got a place to live, got a waitressing job. I mean, I always found waitressing was such a simple way to make money. It was, to me, so easy to be nice to people. Like, I mean, it's such an easy job, really. If you can be nice to people and you're good with people, right? Like, and if you're the right fit for a nice restaurant that has like high ticket items, you can make really good money as an 18 to 22-year-old, so it had always served me well as far as giving me way more cash than like a typical retail job or something that other people were doing to make money on the side of college. So I did that. I went out there and I went to a mountain town.
Wow.
Yeah.
In Colorado. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So okay, well, by the looks of your backdrop, especially with that wild animal sitting on the couch back there behind you,
cleaning himself,
like preparing for battle or something,
right?
So that does not look like Colorado in the background.
No. So. I spent 2 years in Colorado. It was a great time of my life. Again, lots of adventures, meeting lots of new people, out on my own, kind of like really on my own for the first time. I mean, college, you're on your own.
Yeah.
But you're not. Like, you're still kind of, not. So Colorado was my first place to really be, totally like, okay, I'm in an adult world now. This is, it's up to me. I had such an amazing time, Ken. I mean, the beauty of the mountains, being there, snowboarding every day, just living life.
Right.
And that's what always so I wasn't like the chaser of career, I was more like, I'm the chaser of life. And I loved living there and it was wonderful. But then, in the second year, it snowed on the 4th of July.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, this has been great. But I think I need some summer. So I literally got out a map, and I was looking at, okay, if the mountains isn't going to work out, what other place can I live? And I had taken some road trips already at that point out to California.
Okay.
And I had driven the whole coast, San Diego to San Francisco, and just fell in love with, the ocean and everything. I did meet my husband, in Colorado. He was doing the same kind of thing. He was spending winters in the mountains and summers in Central America, just traveling. And so we had that same adventurous spirit about us. And so we met, started dating in Colorado. And we actually first went to Austin, Texas. He was from Texas. And when we just decided very quickly to leave Colorado, we went to Austin, Texas first, but we knew it was a temporary location. I enjoyed Austin as well. Great city. Like, as far as the city concerned, not too big and lots of music, lots of culture. But eventually we made our way out to California and we literally just chose a place to live by driving the coast and thinking about every single town and finding that perfect balance of, like, again, I didn't like crowds. If I was going to live at the ocean, I didn't want to fight 1,000 million people to be on it, So
right.
Yeah. Ended up zoning in on this area here, Ventura, California, which is south of Santa Barbara, north of LA. I'd say again, it was very small at the time. And it's the only thing it's really known for is, Patagonia is located here. So that's how we ended up here in Ventura.
Wow. Holy crap. So you're kind of, I love that. You're just one of those people that like almost like pinning the tail on the donkey. Like you just like pull out a map and throw a dart. That's where we're headed.
Yeah, just go for it.
I love that. I love that. Love that.
So as much as I hated the fact that I really didn't know what I wanted to do with my career, I mean, because that was something I always just was like, I couldn't quite, find the perfect match. I always knew that I wanted to live in a place that I felt like I was on vacation. I wanted to live a life that wasn't trying to get to vacation, right? Like I wanted to have a life that I had that balance
Yeah.
all the time. And so that was one thing I always knew. I just didn't know, it changed and it morphed over time of the different things it looked like. But that was just something I knew, and I'm glad I followed and stuck to that because, again, like you were talking about overcoming fear and things like that, there definitely was pressure, and like many people can relate to, there's pressure to get the career, start the career path, to stick with the solid, to the, you know what I mean? Like not to turn those jobs down, like to take the job, how could you turn a job to go out and live somewhere we had no job, like those kinds of things. There's always that pressure. While my parents they were supportive. I know that I freaked them out early on, because they were worried, again, it's part of, even though they were entrepreneurs and they had that spirit, the pressure to kind of make sure you're not getting too out of the box, is certainly there. And,
right.
But when you're young, that's the thing. I always say, like, when you're young, you can take risks.
Right.
You can take major risks when you're young because it's just you're not providing for a family yet. You're not, you can make changes. If you mess up, you can start over. Like,
right.
You have any opportunity. There's nothing to fear when you're young. I mean, that's when you should be taking the opportunity to go after anything you want, because it does, as you get older, it does get a little more complicated,
Yeah.
when you're feeding people, when you're feeding your children, you got to make sure that they have what they need. Then it can be a little harder. So that was definitely,
that's true.
So then when we finally were in Ventura, I finally was like, okay, this is where I want my home base to be. And I, at that point, was then looking at management opportunities in the local area of restaurants and some resorts that are in the area. And I started looking at that. But by that time, I had spent so much time in the hospitality industry that I realized that it was a major burnout factor for management. It was 60, 70 hours work weeks. It was nights, weekends, holidays. I was already seeing how my husband and I had very opposite schedules. I was nights, he was days. I was, he was during the week, I was on the weekend. It was like we were passing the baton, we weren't even seeing each other that much.
Right.
So again, I just through a circumstance of getting into a conversation with the bartender where I worked, he had just finished his teaching credential and he was like, you should teach. And I was like, what? I've never thought of that before. I never ever thought of being a teacher as being something that I had considered prior.
Right.
But I went and did some substitute teaching at a middle school because you can substitute teach with a bachelor's degree. So I went and just tested it out, and I found immediate gratification in working with kids.
Wow.
Sparking, excitement and fun and in like making it fun.
Yeah.
And building relationships. That I immediately knew this is for me. Why didn't I never consider this before? And so I went back and got my teaching credential, which I had to do at night, at a school in LA, and it took me about 2 years to get through the entire program. And then I went into my first teaching position in 2001. And that's the same time we got married and we bought a house.
Wow.
And now the serious adult life begins.
Yeah, right. So wow. So here you are, 2001. I mean, you're like, what, 25, 6 at that point? 7?
Well, I was born in 74, so yeah, 26.
26. So
yeah.
26 years old, you find out that you absolutely love teaching and sparking, getting kids fired up about life and learning. And you get married, you buy a house. By the way, the backdrop of your wherever you are looks like a vacation spot to me.
Yeah.
Right? So that's pretty cool. Well, you're from this area, so you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. So here you are, like, that's young. 26 is young. I don't care what my birthday's tomorrow. I'm going to be 50.
Wow! Yay! It's going to be a party.
Yeah, I had the party. My wife had a bunch of people over yesterday. My family. But so, at 26, you don't really know who. I'm sorry, I'm getting a call on Facebook. It's weird. You don't at 26 years old. You don't really know. You don't know. There's no way. You don't know at 26. No. Like, I've been there. I mean,
but you think you do.
Huh?
See, you think you do. I mean, I thought I knew.
Oh, yeah.
From like 16 on. From 16 on, I thought I knew.
Right.
But the thing is, and that's the thing is, anytime you're talking to a younger person, like, they're going to be like, I know exactly what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
But, that's part of life. You definitely learn as you go.
Yeah.
And you can look back. You have the opportunity to look back and reflect.
Right.
That's where, I feel like this age is the best because I feel like I really know.
Yeah. Right. But, right. So
I thought I knew that.
So you're at 26 years old. You're getting into teaching, and things are starting to move for you. I mean,
things are good.
Yeah,
things were good. I had up to that point, I'd followed my passions.
Right.
Everything was falling in place. I met someone I loved.
Right.
We moved to California. We were able to buy a house, which was a miracle in itself. I mean, we just got so lucky with that because we just hit the timing of the market where they were like giving out loans to people.
Wow.
It certainly didn't show massive income on paper.
Yeah, but
right. We had good credit, and they were giving out loans, and we got lucky to nab some real estate here in Ventura.
Nice.
So that was a total luck factor.
Right.
But yeah, we were happy. We were happy.
Right. Right.
Our family, we were so.
I mean, and here's the thing about you is you still look like you're 26. So that was like last year.
Yeah, right.
So life is going well for you. Have you had, like, along the way though? I mean, have you had any challenges that you thought, oh God, this is the end? like like all of us do. We all hit those walls. That's what this show's about. Like,
right.
What are some of the challenges? And you don't have to get into specifics, but what are some of the challenges you've had to face and go through, and how did you get through them?
Yeah. So I was reflecting on this when we were preparing for the show because I was thinking about what have been my challenges. And like I mentioned, there were a lot of things in my life that weren't challenging. I feel very blessed to have grown up in a loving home with two parents that taught me morals and values and were strict on me, but loving at the same time. Sure. I mean, so I didn't feel, although I'd say in my teen years, definitely there were times that things could have gone really wrong. And I just, by the miracle of above, they didn't. And so reflecting back on that, I'm like, okay, I got lucky many, many times there. I think where things got probably the most stressful in my life up to this point, were, we got the kids, we started having kids. So we were so ready for kids. I remember when we brought home our daughter, we laid and just stared at her,
Yeah.
We were lucky to have 4 years together before we took the leap to say, okay, we're ready for kids. We were able to time that out right for ourselves, and so excited to start that and being a parent. And then 2 years later, we had twins. And again, we were so blessed and lucky to have our family. But that's when things started to get, harder. Because then, first of all, we started realizing, okay, we're not near family. we as much as we loved adventuring, we have ventured away from our families, away from those supports, that when you have babies and you need help, that we were missing. So we had family come fly out to see us, very much so in the first couple years where we were dealing with 3 little ones. The exhaustion, the not sleeping, all the craziness that comes along with everything now is focused on the kids.
Yeah.
And so we, again, everything was not too bad, but definitely that's where things got a little more challenging. And my husband actually, when I started teaching, he started a business here in Ventura, a window cleaning business. And again, very quickly was able to grow a great clientele. It definitely was a service people needed in the area.
Right.
So he was able to grow his business very quickly, able to transition it to where he was sending out people and not doing all the labor himself, and then giving him the flexibility to stay at home. Teaching was always a very flexible thing like that too, where I had summers off, and so what we were trying to create was that balance, right?
Right.
Because once you have kids, it's not all about you.
Right.
And where and him too, we both wanted to have a balanced, healthy life. We started feeling very overwhelmed and stressed because we were trying to have that balanced life, but we had plates in the air. We had the business. I was working. We had the kids. And although again, we felt lucky, of course, to have all those things. And like you talk about gratitude a lot, we were very grateful for what we had, but we were like, oh my gosh, like, okay, here we are. Okay.
Right.
Ooh, okay. We got to keep going. And, my husband started to not really enjoy, the business side anymore. The business he had, he started to feel burnt out on it. He started to feel it certainly wasn't bringing him like purpose. Like
right.
Me teaching was feeding, me feeling like I was making an impact on other people, and it always was a kind of a passion thing. But he started to get tired of that, and he didn't go to college, and because he went straight into the workforce. And so we had lots of conversations around, okay, like, what are we going to do in 5 years? Like, what are we going to do the next 10 years? And it was really like, literally like, let's just hold on. We have to just hold on. Like, we just got to keep pumping out. We just got to keep grinding, and we got to get through these years until we get them into college. And, and that pressure of the American dream.
Yeah.
Like all of that started to kind of, was weighing on us a little bit.
Sure.
But again, you just do what you have to do, right? Like you wake up every day and you're going to do what you need to do. And again, where we still felt very blessed. I definitely started to feel some challenges. And I think the biggest thing, that I've had to break through, Ken, in my life was for the longest time. And like I said, the longest time I thought that you either have balance and, time with your family and your health. You either have that or you have financial success. I always felt like it was an either or. And so, yes, we had pressure of financial stress in our lives, even though we were both working, we had 3 kids. I mean, California, the expenses, everything, we still had this tightness about our budget that created some stress too. But the other thing is when I read 10X, the 10X rule.
Yeah, one of my favorites.
Yeah, and when I read that, and because I always consider myself someone that didn't have many challenges in my life, and when I got to the part where he talked about the worst place you can be is like the comfortable middle.
Yep.
I was like, oh God, that's what I've been in the comfortable middle where I felt like that was the top, and that is, like that's my greatest potential. And that is like succeeding is being in that comfortable middle.
Right.
And
right.
Again, like I said, like for the longest time in both of us, we were people that thought that you couldn't have everything. It was like in life you had to choose. Like,
right.
If you wanted financial success, you had to like go to work straight out of like 18, you hit the grind and you keep grinding for the next 40 years of your life until, and that's what I thought. Like, I thought that, if I wanted to pursue financial success, it was going to be to the sacrifice of other things. And that's where I feel like I've had to, where I had to reshape my thinking.
Right. And I get that. But, I've always thought, well, when I read the 10X rule, when I was introduced to the Grant Cardone way of thinking, I thought I was doing well in life, right? And then I'm like, well, wait a minute. Like, I was this web development firm, marketing firm here in Central Ohio, and I didn't go far out of that. And then one of Grant's guys came to my office and closed a deal for me with a guy in New Zealand. And he's like, you can do a website in New Zealand, right? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Why wouldn't I? Like, it never occurred to me, right? I don't know why. That's dumb. But, and then all of a sudden the blinders came off, and I'm like, holy crap. And I went and I met with Grant, and he's like, so what do you want? And I'm like going, I want a private jet too.
Right.
And I'd never even considered that as a possibility really in life,
Exactly. That's exactly
right.
Exactly the thought I had. I had never even considered the possibility at all in my life.
Right.
Financial success was something that I could achieve without losing the other things I cared about. And that was certainly an eye-opener for me.
So and I can't even believe we've been on here 42 minutes already. That's insane. Yeah. No, it's been 37. But so if we fast forward a little bit, you've certainly in your teaching career, you've excelled far beyond what you probably ever imagined. Because you're not a teacher anymore, right?
No. I went into administration. I went back and got my master's about 5 years ago now.
Wow.
And that was a challenge too, Ken. I tell you what, right? Again, you have kids. We had kids. I was working during the day. My husband had his business, and I was going to school at night for 2 years. Just talk about a grinding down of. And that did take a toll on me. I was exhausted after that, but we did it, right? You do it. You push yourself to get to that next step.
Yeah.
We got through that. I went into administration mostly because I wanted to have a larger influence. Out of my classroom, I wanted to have an influence on the whole school. And, just to talk a little bit about that, I see so many entrepreneurs talk about what schools are not doing,
right?
What schools are not teaching. And I just want to say that I've had my bootstraps on the ground in education for 19 years, and I agree that there are major things that we need to be teaching kids, and I have been working on those things. Things that have nothing to do with content, science, the subjects, and have everything to do with building the personal skills, the social emotional skills, the leadership skills in kids. And I, for the past 2 years, have been working on bringing a program to my school that is actually, I'm sure you've heard of Stephen Covey and the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yep. Love that.
His son wrote a book for kids, 7 Habits of Happy Kids.
Wow.
Same 7 habits, same exact lessons, same exact information, except told in a way and taught in a way that kids can understand. And so I've been working for the past 2 years to bring that program to full development at my school, because 5-year-olds can learn to begin with the end in mind as well.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so that's a big passion of mine in my job right now, is really bringing that kind of education to children. They take it in like a sponge. They understand it. I almost find that, the simplified language of it, helps me teach it to adults, because it's, 7 basic habits, right? That I wish I had been taught early on, but none of that existed in education. There has been no personal development books are really for adults. And I feel like there's a big missing hole where we should be bringing that to kids. So if anybody out there in your community is a big entrepreneur and wants to make a difference, feels the same way, like feels like, oh my God, schools are failing, schools aren't doing this, schools aren't doing that, contact me. I have a way that you can support the program that I'm putting in on the ground, and you can feel like you're part of the change versus feeling like your hands are tied and all you can do is lament about what schools are not doing, because that's a big passion point of mine. So
that's incredible, and this world, especially with the education system, needs some disruptors. I mean, I've told this story many times. I didn't graduate high school, and it was because I didn't get a biology credit. And I remember arguing with the guidance counselor, like, dude, I hated biology. I'm never going, it's not going to apply to my life ever. Let's give me the certificate because I aced calculus and trig and all that. And he's like, nope, it's the rules. And I'm like, well, your rules are, you know what? And I just said, well, then I'm done, man. I'm out. See you. Peace. Yeah. And I left and didn't go to college. But I one of the things that I've done in my life, and I know you do too, is I've and I think I know it was Jim Rohn said something to the effect of a formal education will make you rich, and self-education will make you wealthy, or something like that, right? I don't know what it is. Somebody can type it in if you know what it is. But so like I spent, from the age of 20 years old, when I realized I didn't know anything about the career path I had chosen, which was sales, I started, thousands of books I've read, and I continue to read nonstop every single day, and learning and applying that to my life, and making mistakes and then fixing them, and that's
education.
Huh?
That's education. You're educating yourself.
That's it. It.
Wanted to learn. That's the thing. I think it's about you have the freedom to choose what you want to learn, right?
Yeah.
And you have access to the resources you need.
Yes.
And the great thing is that technology has come a long way to create that, to start to create an impact in education, because back when we were in school, if the book wasn't in the library, that's
right.
You didn't have access to it, So with the internet and with all the resources there are, with all the, you can really create, kids can choose. There is a lot more freedom in choosing. Like, what most interests you?
Yeah.
What do you want to learn about? How do you want to show what you learned? And there's that freedom, and we have that element definitely exists in education, and a lot of people don't know that aren't in education, that there's a lot of amazing things happening.
Yes.
But yes, it does take people that are wanting to make that change, and it does take, I think, there's a missing partnership between business and education. There's a huge missing gap where companies and businesses and organizations could be investing and partnering with their local schools to create more opportunities for real life education. Because it's you know what I mean? Like there's a big missing piece there.
Well, and so, I think that with what you're doing, obviously, that's your way of in effect, causing ripples in the universe and positively impacting the world, and that's amazing. So let's shift gears a little bit, and talk about at some point you became an entrepreneur as a teacher, or you're a principal of a school now, right? So let's talk about that a little bit.
So my husband and I had the window cleaning business, and like my parents, my husband did the majority of the business, and I would help with the billing and all that side of it. So, I felt like I was already, helping run a business, but definitely lots of overhead, lots of liability and lots of time involved in running that business.
Yes.
But anyways, again, like I didn't know I was about to start a whole nother career path. I didn't know, because when I found the opportunity that came across my path, it wasn't that I was looking for an opportunity. I was introduced to a product, that in the network marketing space, I had many friends that did, I had some mom friends that did jewelry businesses and clothing businesses. I was always happy to go shop.
Right.
So I been around network marketing as a customer for years and always enjoyed an opportunity for a night out with the girls, go shop, go have some wine and some appetizers, hang out with friends, buy some new stuff. Hey, it was great. But I never considered it as a career choice or an additional path for me in business. But, like I was telling you, the hardest part of my life came when we had all these plates in the air and everything was about giving to my career, my husband giving to his career, us giving to our kids.
Right.
And we were all very active, healthy people, but I was starting to feel like I was burning out.
Right.
I was starting to feel like the candle was burning at both ends, to the point for too many years in a row that I was starting to think, okay, like here's where the, like that thing they talk about, the hill.
Yeah. Yes.
Here's where I'm like going to start to go down. So, but I just figured that's what it is. But anyways, I came across a friend who was sharing a product, and she was a mom, and she was just talking about how it was helping her with her energy levels and her cognitive function, and coming home from work, she was feeling great. She was exercising more because she wasn't tired. And I was like, I remember just messaging her and saying, what are you doing? Because, I'm tired. I'm burnt out at the end of the day. And, what are you doing? So she told me about the product, and it was a nutritional supplement. I was very skeptical to try it because, who's not skeptical?
Right.
I typed into Google, like, scam, and I was like looking for information that was going to tell me it was a scam or not, that it didn't work or whatever. But,
right.
And I did find some bad articles, because you can find bad articles about anything online. But
Yes.
Eventually I was watching her for so long, and I was reading other testimonies of people for so long. I think it was about 5 months. And I kept on coming across mothers, a lot of educators. I kept on finding testimonies that I was just like, you know what? I just needed to give this a shot, see if it makes me feel like these people feel. And then if it doesn't, I'll move on. And so in April 2015, I started taking the product, the nutritional supplement. And within the end of the week, I felt like I had just hit the, button for reverse time, like 10 years. And I felt amazing. My body felt nourished. I was like waking up before my alarm. I was staying up past my kids. I felt on point all day. I wasn't getting tired. I wasn't feeling burnout. I was just feeling incredible. And I knew at the end of that first week, like, one of the things I knew without a doubt was I'm not going back to what I felt like for the past 3-4 years. And I kept on taking the product, but along the way, I had people asking me about what I was doing, because they noticed differences in me. And very quickly, I had a few friends that were like, Claudia, I need something to help me. I'm exhausted too, So I started connecting people to the referral link as a customer.
Yeah.
Started getting the product for free. Kept on having people ask me about it, and then finally decided it made no sense for me not to become a free distributor, because there was no other. I was already sharing. I was already doing the work of recommending it to people and very happily talking to people about it, to tell them what it was doing for me, to listen to what they were dealing with, to see if it could help them.
Yeah.
And this became a passion of mine. So I stopped kind of watching TV at night. That's what I used to do at the end of the day when I was exhausted, was, watch a Netflix show or something. So I started on social media sharing information about the product and started to grow a business. 4 months into it, I hit a bonus in the company that allowed me to go trade in my Toyota minivan for a Lexus.
Wow.
And that was the first time in my life I was like, oh my, what, like, I was just like, okay, in education, it takes a lot of years to get like, you know, a little salary raises and stuff.
Yeah.
And, I just loved doing it. I just loved sharing it. And I knew that I was not going to stop taking the product. And I saw it making an impact, positive impact on people over and over and over again. And so it kind of just grew. But when I hit that car bonus is when I started to, you know, the light bulb went off for me to go, you know what, I'm part of an opportunity I have right now to really invest some time instead of the TV time, invest some time and really run with this. Because I had a lot of people I knew could use it, and I knew a lot of people had never heard of it. So I just kept on sharing in my free time around my job, and the impact kept on rolling in, and people kept on loving the product and sharing the product. And 3 years have gone by since that day I started the product myself, and we were able to hit the top rank of the company, bringing in over 6 figures into our home a year that allowed us to sell my husband's business.
Wow.
And really take a load of stress off our plate.
And this is all not, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but this is all just like it started as like kind of a side thing that you know, like, and it's really what it is it's attraction marketing. Like, you know, you're
right. It's just, you know, I mean, to me, what I find is I used to post pictures of my coffee all the time. I used to post, you know, loving my coffee, you know, and I used to post pictures. I've always posted about things I've loved and enjoyed. And
yeah,
me, and that's a big thing for me is I never, you know, I used to think sales was like about convincing someone about something. And I never considered a job in sales because I didn't want to be a person that like, what I thought was sales, you know, my mindset around what sales was is
right.
Again, it was wrong, because really what sales is, you know, when you have something that you know can deliver value to people and it's your job to educate people and inspire people to give it a shot, you know, to me, that's more like education than sales, but that's what it is. You know, that's what sales is you are helping consumers solve problems, and it's your job to help them understand how you can help them.
Right.
And I was, again, in 100%, my confidence came from knowing what it had done for me. I never had fear of sharing because I knew, you know, I was so confident in my experience. I just felt like I was a testimonial.
Yeah.
And people that were looking and curious and looking for some help in the areas it helped with, like that would trust me to try it, I knew it would bring positivity to their life. And so, yeah, it is like attraction marketing. It's everybody's, if you're posting on social media,
right.
You know, if you're posting your vacation, if you're posting your favorite restaurant, you're selling. You might not be gaining anything out of selling those things, but you're
right.
making someone else go, I want to go on that trip.
Right.
Or, I should go check out that restaurant. And so that's really what I'm doing is I'm just promoting something that I personally use and love.
Right.
And I educate people on how it can help them. And then also because it's an opportunity to grow an income as well, I do find people that are also looking for a way to bring income into their home.
Right.
To relieve financial stress in their life as well. So.
Well, and you know, it's an amazing product and company. I use it
right.
and I don't promote it, but I use it and love it. So, and I know a lot of people that use it and promote it and love it. But you know, so you've done very well, and I saw you at the company national convention. And I believe, or international convention, I don't know what they call it, but and you were invited to be in the VIP section of like hanging out with the upper level people, I believe.
Well, with that, I paid to be in the VIP section.
Oh, okay.
I invested to be in that section, because if I'm going to go to learn, I'm going to put myself in the front of the room.
Love that. Yep.
Right? Like, I'm going to show up with, I'm going to soak in every last bit of information I can get from the people who have created success ahead of me. Yep. And that's one thing as an educator. When I came into this industry, I knew nothing about network marketing, but I knew I was passionate about the product, and I knew that I was willing to learn.
Right.
Because I've always had the growth mindset, and I was like, so I was coachable. And when someone said to me, Claudia, look, just, do what I do, like follow the footsteps of the people who have created success ahead of you, and this will duplicate.
Right.
That's, so I was totally open to going like, heck yeah, if I don't have to reinvent the wheel, like I will immerse myself in just looking at, finding mentors above me. And luckily I just have incredible mentors above me that have taught me the right way.
Right.
There's certainly the wrong way to do things in network marketing. And I'm sure you've been pitched and DM'd and, hey, do you want to make $10,000 next month and join my opportunity and blah, 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 blah. So, luckily I was mentored in the right way. I was mentored in a customer service way, that it's all about helping people, educating people about the product, helping people. It's not about spamming your opportunity and splashing it all over the place. So luckily, I had the right mentorship going in, and I've been able to duplicate that kind of leadership down, because that's another piece is, when you're growing a team, you're growing, you're duplicating, right?
Right.
You not want people to be able to follow the system, a simple system. You want them to duplicate leadership. I need to grow leaders under me so that they can, be the next layer of leadership for the incoming people. So we've got layers and layers of leadership. And also, again, that's made it possible for me, because I still work full time as a principal. So when I'm in the school year, 7 a.m. to 5 p.m., I'm not available.
Right.
But because there's layers of leadership within my network, my people have access to those people, without having to rely upon me.
So what is somebody asked, and we're almost at the end of the hour. I can't even believe it's been an hour already. But we can go a little bit over, but there are some questions I want to ask you, and
sure.
But somebody did ask, what's the product? Go ahead and tell them.
The product is called Thrive, and it's by Lavelle Brands. The company's been around for 5 years. Ken takes it.
Yep.
He's used it. I have been using it. What it is essentially, in the sea of the supplement world, it's just a very high quality. Number one, because quality of ingredients matter in the supplement world. Number two, absorption rate matters in the supplement world, but it's basically core nutrition. You're just feeding your body 100 different premium nutrients in the first 30 minutes of your day.
Yeah.
Part of those nutrients, I don't know if you can see me, time release your skin. This is called dermafusion technology. And basically you're just starting your day with a core base of nutrition that helps your body perform at its best, cognitively, physically, digestively. It just does everything that your body needs.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
So it's that, and people come to it for a lot of different reasons. Ken, I don't know what initially prompted you to try it, but for me, like I said and mentioned, it was the energy, the natural energy, and the cognitive that I was looking for. Because to be honest, I was drinking coffee in the morning, I was drinking coffee at 3 p.m., and I was still tired.
Yeah.
So that's what prompted me. What prompted you to try it?
Somebody pushing me. It was Carrie Ann Tobin. She's like, you've got to try it. You've got to try it. You've got to try it. And so I did, and I'm like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. It really, truly is. Like.
And I know for you, because we've talked, and a big benefit for you was the digestive health.
Yep.
Things around your gut health, keeping your gut healthy and the bad bacteria away, and the healthy anything that's related to the gut is a huge aspect of it. So anyways,
it's an incredible, and I want to encourage anybody that would like to try it or talk about it, like to reach out to you, because you know the stuff well. I don't. I mean, I am a promoter, but I don't promote it and honestly, I just don't like. I coach some people in the network marketing world, and I just can't. I'm not commingling with all that anymore. So,
Yeah.
but I love the product. I do love the product, and I use several network marketing products. Send out cards. I love that. I love that company. I love that product. I'm friends with the CEO of Send Out Cards. So, and I think that. What I'd like to do though is kind of shift back a little bit towards the breakthrough part. So, because we're a little bit over in time now, and I want to shift back a little bit. So let's talk about from your perspective. You see people that are stuck. I know you do. I see people that are stuck. What do you think the biggest mistake is that people are making that keep them stuck from your perspective?
I think people give up too quickly. I think that the biggest thing in life and business, whether it's network marketing or it's a traditional business, I mean, there's businesses open and close every single day. What's the differentiator? I think that now, of course, you have to your business has to fulfill a need. You can be the greatest business person ever, but if you don't have a product that is a need for people, it's not going to matter. Like, you have to have that combination of you are providing value to people. You are providing value. People become loyal customers. And loyal customers to the point at which they also refer other people to you. So this is in any business.
Yes.
Businesses are built on loyal customers that also then are like telling other people about you because they value the product so much that they're willing to say, you got to use this guy. You got to try, this is what I use.
Right.
I think the big thing that where people fail is when they begin to hit challenges.
Yeah.
That whole thing of the success, all the things around success and what does success look like, and you see the mountain sticking out of the ocean or the straight line, success in business, and in life, is not a straight line. You come across challenges. And I think the biggest thing is people let the challenges take them down too quickly. Here. Versus knowing that, here's the thing is I know that there's challenge. I wake up every day and I'm like, okay, there's going to be challenges that come across my path today. I'm ready for them.
Yep.
I'm preparing myself for them. I am making myself better so that when I come across that challenge, it's immediate. My first thought is, how do I solve it? Not, oh, crap. Oh, my God. I can't make it. Oh, my God. Because I think it's how you respond to challenge in your life, and that's habit number one.
Yeah.
Proactive versus reactive. You have got to be proactive, expect challenge, be ready to push right on through it. Be creative to be a problem solver. Figure out what you need to do to fix the problem. Sometimes it might be that you need help from somebody. But you have to be focused on problem solving because too many people hit a challenge and they immediately start self-sabotaging and are like, I'm not good at this. I can't do this. And they quit.
So there's a very common theme, by the way, with everybody I ask that question is it does come down to mindset. But, I would say to you, and I ask this question of every guest, and that is, if you have somebody, because most people have been, whether it's in your early 20s or in your late 40s, or 60s or 80s, I don't know. Everybody's faced challenges where they're like so broke they can't pay the bills, they can't pay, the utilities are getting shut off, the whatever, right? So if somebody came to you, and I'm sure you've had people contact you or reach out to you and say, with their sob story, and I don't say that making fun. I've been there. I've had the same sob story, But if somebody reaches out to you and they say, Claudia, my electric's getting shut off tomorrow. My car was just repossessed. I don't have a job. I don't know what to do. I can't, what do I do? What do I do? What are you going to say to that person? Like, what are you going to say to them? Very first thing.
Ken, the thing is when someone's in that situation, and here's the thing, you can always change your situation. That would be the first thing I'd say to them. You can always change your situation.
Yes.
But nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right.
Because if you're in that situation, you've made some choices.
Yeah.
You've made some bad choices. Because the thing is I've worked since I was 10 flipping years old.
Right.
And so I've been able, and I've worked 2 jobs and 3 jobs at the same time.
Right.
To make sure that so I was able to pay my bills. And we live in a country that, I'm sorry, like, you can make money, but you cannot be full of excuses. And maybe it's not your dream job and it's not your dream path, but you need to be bringing money into your home. You need to be bringing money in, and you need to stop spending money on everything that's not a necessity.
Right.
And if part of your situation is because you've done some things, because it's a mindset thing, or you're self-sabotaging yourself, if you're putting things into your body that are only hindering you, maybe that's the first step someone needs to take. Because sometimes when someone's hitting rock bottom like that, it's not because they just don't have a business, like the career path has gone wrong.
Right.
It's because they've done things to themselves that have gone wrong too. And so you have to be willing to be honest with yourself and be able to look at this is the thing where I've heard that quote, right? You have to take accountability for everything in your life, both positive and bad.
Yep.
You have to take responsibility. It's you.
Yep.
You have the power to change your life, but you cannot sit there as a victim, and you cannot dwell on the mistakes of the past.
Right.
You can't sit there and go, I should have done this, I shouldn't have done that. The longer you stay stuck in lamenting and regretting, the longer you prolong the state at which you're in. So release the guilt trip on yourself.
Yep.
Know that, okay, no matter how bad it is, you can take a step forward in the right direction.
Yep.
Find people that are successful and can be a positive for you.
Yep.
Get rid of all the negative people in your life, both in the real world and on social media, and link up with people like you, right?
And that
that can be a positive, right?
Yep.
Because that's another huge thing. Like, you have got to be willing to cut the ties of everything that is in the past and let it go.
Let it go.
The longer you carry that load of the mistakes, the longer it prolongs. And whether that is that you have been victimized in the past, or that you just made bad choices in the past, whatever it is, it may or may not be your fault.
Right.
In your mind, right?
Right.
But you have to let it go.
Yep.
And know that there is abundant opportunity around you.
Everywhere.
Abundant opportunity. Like, my opportunity with this company was free.
Right.
And so sometimes I'll talk to somebody about that and say, look, I've been able to create a major financial influx in my family with an hour a day, my phone and social media for free.
Right.
But I was willing to put in the work.
Right.
Because it doesn't come for free. It still takes work.
It does.
And old school, new school, however the opportunities roll out, one of the things I know that my parents always taught me is, like, you have to have a work ethic, and you have to be really to roll up those sleeves and get to work.
Yep.
We all have the same hours in the day. But, where there's a will, there's a way. So, you have to be willing to move forward.
Yep. I agree.
I'm going to say one last thing, Ken, because this was something that stuck with me a lot in my life. So my parents, like I told you, my dad immigrated, and he, he's all about history and teaching me about the family line and the history of our family. And he has a book with all of our lineage in it and stuff. And we have a family crest, which the image of it, he had it in stained glass on our window growing up. And there was a saying with it. And the saying in German was immer vorwärts. And I remember seeing and looking at that often in my life and not really understanding the message, but the words translate to always forward. And I
say that again. Always what?
Forward.
Okay.
Immer vorwärts translates to always forward. And if anything, my parents have lived a life like that. While they had stress and challenges along the way, they were always positive, and joyful people, and focused on the now and the future.
Yep.
And so, you have to have that. You have to be looking forward and know that no matter what happened or translates from the past, you're moving forward, and you can use the mistakes as opportunities to grow.
Yep.
I teach children, and mistakes are part of education, of learning, everywhere in life. You cannot feel guilty about making a mistake. Yes, I want you to learn from the mistake. But many of the things we learn in life come from mistakes that we've made.
Yeah.
It's helped us understand on a deeper level what we care about, what's important to us, what we value, natural consequences of certain choices. So every mistake you've made has been an opportunity for you to learn. So don't let it be a reason for you to not move forward.
I totally agree. We had family movie night last night, and we all decided on watching that movie, I Can Only Imagine, and wow, what a powerful movie. Powerful.
Okay, I have to put that on my list because I haven't seen it.
It's on pay-per-view, and I'm telling you, it'll be the best $5 you've ever spent. It'll blow you away. It's incredible.
Awesome.
It does have a religious undertone, but whatever. It's got a great message, and it's all true. It's a true story, so it's incredible. But hey, listen, we are an hour and 12 minutes in, 13 minutes in. And I just want to say thank you so much. I really genuinely appreciate you taking the time. I know it's early in California, early-ish in California. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. I've watched you. I know you're a leader globally in your company. You're an amazing rock star. And I'm honored to call you a friend. And you're not even part of my upline or whatever, and you've helped me out freely. You don't make a nickel off of anything I buy, and you've explained things to me I didn't understand, and I'm so grateful for you. So, how do people follow you?
At Claudia Stepan. I'm mostly on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn, all under the same name. So that any of those places work.
Awesome. Well, Claudia, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to come on and sharing some of your wisdom. Anybody watching, if you want to know more and want to learn from Claudia, definitely follow her. And that's one of the things I love about her is, she comes on Facebook and she'll do live streaming and she doesn't try to sell. In fact, I've seen times where you talk about the benefits and you don't even mention the company name. It's incredible. So I think you're a rock star. I love everything that you do. And as you already know, if there's anything I can ever do to help you, all you have to do is ask. So thank you.
Ken, I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, you have a lot of powerhouse guests. So I feel really honored to be in your lineup. And for everybody who I'm friends with that's not friends with Ken, I highly recommend you follow Ken. You put out amazing content yourself. And always, again, social media can be a place where people are connecting with positive people that, linking arms and surrounding yourself by people who are on a positive mission. I see so many people complain about social media, and I'm like, if you're complaining about social media, you haven't taken control of your social media.
Yeah.
Because you get to decide who you're connecting with. It's not like force fed.
That's right.
Find other people that are using social media the right way and connect with them. And Ken is certainly one of those people that I highly recommend people follow and stay connected with. Again, you're so giving of your time as well. You have that abundant mindset of the more you give, the more comes back to you. And I appreciate you inviting me on.
Yeah, you're more than welcome. The honor is mine. So thank you so much. Thank you for your kind words too. So again, thank you to everybody who has liked this and shared it and loved it and everything. I appreciate it. I know Claudia does as well. So thank you all, and we will see you tomorrow on Breakthrough Walls. Have a great day. Thank you, Claudia.
You're welcome.
All right. See you guys later.
Bye.